radicalization.
In a first, the Ministry of Home Affairs has cleared a study to analyze radicalization across the country. Currently, there is no clear definition of radicalization in the legal system. This study aims to suggest solutions to prevent the problems by identifying the modus operandi and target youth. In fact, the study will even indicate how the UAPA Act can be amended. The opposition has fiercely criticized this new move. Take a look at this report before we head into our debate.
In an unprecedented move, Centre has given nod to conduct a study to analyze radicalization in India. The main agenda of the study will be to suggest practical solutions to prevent the menace of radicalization. It will also offer suggestions on how the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act can be amended.
We do not have much empirical information about the instances of radicalization in different states. On the other side, we have sufficient information that a significant number of youths are systematically being indoctrinated about radical beliefs, ideas, ideologies, and kinds of things. We would be critically reviewing the existing legal regime. That is the UAPA Act primarily. And we are hoping to include radicalization term and de-radicalization term for the purpose of their definition.
However, the secular lobby sees a sinister plot behind the exercise. AIMIM chief OAC and the opposition claim the study aims at targeting one community.
UAPA एक ड्रैकोनियन कानून है और इसकी जिम्मेदारी कांग्रेस और बीजेपी पर आयद होती है। ये कानून को हमेशा चाहे कांग्रेस हो या बीजेपी हो, माइनॉरिटीज, दलित, ट्राइबल्स और जो किसी सरकार के खिलाफ होता है उनके खिलाफ इस्तेमाल होता है। रहा सवाल रेडिकलाइजेशन का, तो हम ये पूछना चाह रहे हैं कि बीजेपी पार्टी में खुद ऐसे दो सांसद बैठे हैं जिन्होंने गोडसे को बड़ा देशभक्त कहा। अब ये रेडिकलाइजेशन है या नहीं है, बीजेपी बता दे। गवर्नमेंट को बताना चाहिए कि डी रेडिकलाइजेशन अगर करने वाले हैं तो क्या वो सिर्फ एक मजहब के ऊपर करेंगे या सब पे करेंगे।
It is surprising Home Ministry wants a study and to analyze radicalization. In last 6 years they have not done anything. But I asked Amit Shah ji whether he has already talked to Mohan Bhagwat ji, Rashtriya Sevak Sangh, whether he can take action against those who have been demanding Hindu Rashtra. I don't think so. कहीं पे निगाहें, कहीं पे निशाना.
I would want the government to define what do they mean by radicalization. Are they hinting only at Islamic radicalization, targeting Muslims in India? Are they hinting at Sikh radicalization? Are they hinting at Hindu radicalization, at political radicalization, at Christian radicalization? What are they hinting at? What is this additional business that overwhelms already a people terrified by UAPA and by all those other laws?
Raining fire, BJP and the centre lashed out at the opposition for opposing a law which could help de-radicalize youth and maintain peace.
Radicalization is a different phenomena. It is not religion related. Radicalization is different. UAPA is not targeting against any section of society.
क्या समस्याएं क्या हैं, वो तो समस्या का बिल्कुल जड़ से समस्या मिटाने के लिए यह चीजें जरूरी है.
But dangerous fallout of radicalization is clear and present. The NIA probe reveals that ISIS is most active in 12 states, most of them falling in the southern region. The centre apprised the parliament in September that NIA filed at least 17 cases related to ISIS in the south and 122 operatives were arrested. With the opposition raising the minority card, the question arises, is that fear-mongering for votes? Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, Debate #1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Why this fear mongering? That's the most important question that needs to be asked tonight. We have with us on the panel Sanju Verma, spokesperson of the BJP. We're also joined by Shehzad Poonawalla, political analyst, Tausifur Rahman, also political analyst, joins us along with Majid Hydari, a journalist, and Sumansi Raman, a political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Let me first go across to Tausifur Rahman. Tausifur Rahman, and the question is very simple, it's very direct. Why this fear mongering when the MHA has made it clear that this is going to be a religion neutral study to understand radicalization and its pattern? So why this fear mongering that this is going to target a particular community?
Well, ma'am, I would like to start with and ask you question as well, and all the panelists, that this radicalization, are we going to bring amendment on radical Indians, radical Muslims, radical Hindu, or radical different religion? Whom are we going to work on? Are we going to work on just on Maharashtra, Jammu and Kashmir and Kerala? Are we going to stop humiliating the youth from Kashmir, humiliating the minorities youth? What are we going to do, and what are we going to bring the amendments for? And what India is going to actually do? I want to ask a question. I'm not being scared, and there's no fear mongering. We are Indians and we have the right to ask question to each and every one, like the way you ask us the question.
So when one says radicalized
my point is very simple.
So
what is the use of this whole
you've
agenda?
asked several questions. Now let me give you a counter and other panelists also an opportunity to speak. So now when you say radicalized youth, Shehzad Poonawalla, what sense do you get? Am I talking about a radicalized Muslim, or am I talking about a radicalized Hindu or a radicalized Christian? Who am I talking about, and what sense do you get when I say radicalized youth?
Swati, I hope my co-panelists won't interrupt me. बट ये देखिए अनोखी बात है कि अभी बच्चा पैदा नहीं हुआ पर उसके मुंडन के लिए तैयारी कर दी तौसीफ भाई ने कि कौन पकड़ा जाएगा इस पूरे कानून में, उनको पता चल गया। अभी तो रेडिकलाइजेशन की डेफिनेशन तय करने के लिए एक NLU इज वन ऑफ द लीडिंग लॉ इंस्टीट्यूट्स, दे आर गोइंग टू डू द रिसर्च अंडर हुम, अंडर ब्यूरो ऑफ पुलिस रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, विच इज एन ऑटोनॉमस एंड इंडिपेंडेंट थिंक टैंक ऑफ द पुलिस, to define radicalization on a religion neutral level, so that if it is being misused by the police, just understand, police today is misusing in some cases, so that misuse can stop. But look at these people, they opposed UAPA amendment, they opposed POTA, they said even Indian Mujahideen is not existing, it is not a terror group. ये वोट बैंक के लिए राजनीति कर सकते हैं राष्ट्रीय सुरक्षा पर भी. This shows their mindset that these so-called people, and this is the same gang which is happy to say Jai Shri Ram is a war cry. On one or two cases, they can say entire Jai Shri Ram is a war cry. Okay. But when a radicalization is happening, Islamist terrorism is a reality, then they want to become like collective ostriches of the world and want to put their heads 10 feet below the ground. But look at the way they are opposing any move on terrorism just for vote bank considerations.
Okay, Majid Hydari, this word radicalization has been used the most for Jammu Kashmir, especially for the valley, and it has been used by everybody. From the local leaders there to the national leaders across party lines. Why is it that you don't want the investigating agencies or this group first to study what radicalization is, to define what radicalization is, to study the pattern of radicalization?
Well, madam, the MHA go ahead for a study of radicalization in 3 states and a union territory where you have significant population of Muslims. Actually, it does definitely aim at changing and redefining the UAPA. The UAPA after the study will be called UAPAM, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act for Muslims.
Is this study specifically for Jammu Kashmir?
Because if there was a need of such a study...
No, how do you draw such conclusions, sir? How do you draw such conclusions? Is this study only specifically for people of Jammu and Kashmir? Has that been mentioned anywhere?
If you look at Assam,
when you say pan-India,
Kerala and Jammu and Kashmir, it has a significant population.
Sir, when you say pan-India, it involves all the states.
Majid,
from where did you get this? Where did you get this information?
Where you had Pehlu Khan.
Majid, you think only Muslims are radicalized?
That Shankar Nath.
No, are you saying only Muslims are radicalized?
Why not?
Majid, are humiliating Muslims.
Speak. Let him speak. I guess we are talking about the integrity of India.
Only looked upon in areas where you have dominance or significant population of Muslims. This is
okay. So you're saying
true.
Hunting the Muslims.
True.
Okay. So Mr. One second, Majid Hydari, let me bring in Sanju Verma as well. Sanju Verma, now these are rather the concerns, or should I say the issues that are being used to fear monger, to tell people that you are giving this approval for study of radicalization only to target a particular community? Respond.
First things first, Swati, let me tell you that radicalization, the word first originated in the current sense of the term after the Madrid train bombings in 2004. And that was the first time, 16 years back, that people took cognizance of something called radicalized Islamist terrorism. It is not something new. If Majid Haider wants to be the proverbial ostrich with head under the sand, good luck to him. Point number 2. Let us be very clear that it was in 2018 that the Ministry of Home Affairs had invited proposals to conduct a study on what radicalization means, how it needs to be curtailed, so on and so forth. It is not something which has happened yesterday or today. Point number 3, there is a famous Hindi saying, Chor ki daadhi mein tinka. Why is Majid Haider jumping the gun and assuming that this will be anti-Muslim? Any law in India has to be religion neutral. This is something that he should know. By doubting the validity and the efficacy of the jurisprudence and judicial structure of India, he is actually pointing a finger at the constitution. Please do not do that. Point number 4, whether you like it or not, the fact of the matter is that Chief of Defence Staff Bipin Rawat, no less, at the Raisina dialogue in January 2020, clearly said that there is tremendous radicalization in Jammu and Kashmir. He was speaking from his tremendous years of experience, and he said that a lot of people who have been segregated and de-radicalized have actually benefited from being mainstreamed into the society. So if you do not acknowledge the problem of radicalization, how are you going to even resolve it?
Why don't you want to acknowledge the pattern behind radicalization is the question. Sumansi Raman, world leaders have spoken about this terminology, this phenomena of individuals being radicalized. Why is it that there is so much of objection even before the study has begun, even before we get more clarity on what is going to be the process that is going to be followed?
Okay, let me make a couple of quick points. First, point number 1, a radical by definition, and you can look it up in the dictionary, is somebody who holds extreme social or political views. If we look at this as the yardstick, then virtually every major reformer in history will be a radical. Rajaram Mohan Roy would have been a radical because he advocated that women should not be
Sir, we know what, sir, you know what kind of radicalization is being talked about.
Mahatma Gandhi was a radical.
Oh my God.
Because, of course he was.
Sumansi Raman, what kind of radicalization is being talked about? What kind of radicalization? What kind of radicalization is being talked about? What kind? No, it's very. No, this is very convenient. Okay, 1 second. This is very convenient. Okay, 1 second. Shehzad Poonawala, 1 second. There are individuals who. Okay, go ahead. Finish your point. Yeah, finish your point.
Every single major social reformer or every reform that has occurred in society has happened because people held radical views and said this is not acceptable. Radical view holding is not equal to violence. Radical views.
What explains 122 people arrested in southern states in 17 cases related to the presence of ISIS in the state? What is that?
Excuse me.
Isn't that also a form of radicalization?
No, 1 minute. 1 minute.
No, 1 second, sir. You cannot go on and on. You asked me to let you finish your point. I did that. Now let's see some counters as well. Shehzad, then Sanju.
You have not allowed me to finish. I have.
Swati, can I please come in?
Swati.
Yeah, Shehzad, then Sanju.
Swati, may I please come in?
One second, one at a time. One at a time, please. One at a time. Can we all speak?
Essentially a state.
Mr. Raman, you cannot hegemonize
okay, it's a state of mind, Shehzad Poonawala. Radicalization is a state of mind. Go
Let's
ahead.
take a counter.
Basically, what you're saying is, if somebody...
Sir, please take a counter.
But he doesn't stop.
Take a counter, sir.
State of mind. Radicalization is a state
Take
of
a counter
mind.
now. Yeah,
Terrorism
Shehzad,
is
then
a state
Sanju.
of mind.
One
In
second.
which world are you living? Which world are you living?
Can we all speak in
I think there is complete ignorance in this
Okay, Sumansi Raman, 1 second, sir. 1 second. Let's listen to what others' definition of radicalization is. 1 second, please wait, sir.
You know,
Relax, wait, sir. Wait. There's only 1 second. Sumansi Raman, please don't force me to lower
Mr.
your fader,
Raman,
sir.
at least don't lose.
Yeah. Shehzad, go ahead, then Sanju.
You know, we should all at least have the basic etiquettes and the courtesies of a debate, sir. I heard you out. You hear me out.
Not to interrupt.
No, you know, Mr. Raman, I understand Bharti Singh is in jail, but doesn't mean you make the most comical arguments on national
There is
TV.
no comical argument.
Sir,
You
sir,
don't
please have
an
some
answer, my
etiquette,
friend.
sir. Please.
You don't have an
You're a
logical
much.
answer.
You know, you're a. Sir, you've been debating
You
for
can
more
get into
longer time than my
abusing me,
age.
which is what
So
you
please have
usually
some
do,
basic
because you
etiquettes.
don't have a
I'm making a point. Yeah, but you have to have the patience and the tolerance to hear it. Okay, so please wait your turn and have the basic decorum of a debate. Thank you. You've called Mahatma Gandhi a radical. Of course, he was a radical person, but radical and radicalized are different. But unfortunately for your biradari, that Riaz Naiku is a maths teacher. Burhan Wani is a bhatka hua yuva. So you know, I cannot explain to you radical and radicalized. So now please stop heckling me. Stop being a serial heckler. We'll have to define heckling in the. We'll have to have the MHA define heckling. Ma'am, Swati, can you have this
Yes,
man
please
stop
go ahead.
heckling
Please
me?
go ahead.
He's
Finish
a
your point.
Serial heckler and a stone pelter, verbal. Okay, now the point that I'm trying to make, the point I'm trying to make is only this. The number one security challenge, I wish Nikunj was on this debate, the number one security challenge India faces is not Islamic radical terror, is in fact Naxalism. A large amount of this definition of radicalism will apply to that. And
Shehzad,
those are
this
not
is what-
Muslims, Majid Haidari.
Shehzad,
Stop
this is
living
what
in your
Sanjeev starting
fear-mongering
from 2004.
world of only the Muslims are the victims of this bad country called India. The Naxals are the biggest internal security threat. They will be part of this entire exercise. So stop it and stop playing a dirty vote bank
Mahatma
politics.
Gandhi's murder. When Nathuram Godse murdered, that is what radicalization started, sir.
Can I get a chance?
What are you
Okay, so
saying?
Tausifur Rahman, again I'll have to go back to the basic
you want
point
to
and
call
saying
that
MHA is
radicalization,
saying
but
that
you
this is
can't.
going to be
Can I
religion
please
neutral.
come in?
If MHA
I
is
need
saying
to
this is
come
going to
in.
be religion neutral,
You say that the minority
then
is
why
not
you're,
being
then why,
targeted, but
no,
each
then
and
why
every
there's this
time the
fear mongering
minorities
which is
are
happening?
targeted, Shehzad,
Now, can I get a
there
chance?
is no fear mongering. That's
Can
what
I
I'm
please
saying.
make a point?
First,
What did
Radical,
Mr.
radical
No, what did
Are we
Mr.
Indians?
Owaisi
We
say? Is
Indians,
that
are
not
we
fear
radical or
mongering?
not?
I need to make a point.
Is that not fear mongering?
No, I don't care. I don't care about Owaisi. What he wants
Exactly.
to do.
No,
don't
I am
care
not asking about your
BJP.
personal viewpoint. I am saying there are
BJP.
individuals
let
who
me
are
make a
making
point.
such comments that this is going to be against a
Swati.
particular community. Is that not fear mongering? Take a stand on that.
Sanjeev Verma talking about
I want to
Islamic
make a point.
radicalization in 2004.
You will not take a stand on that,
Sanjeev Verma
Tausifur
talking
Rahman.
about
Okay,
please
Sanju,
come
go
in?
ahead.
Islamic
Swati,
radicalization.
go ahead, Sanju.
I say, no.
Can I please come?
I say
Please ask
the
him to keep
radicalization
quiet.
started
Please
when
keep
Mahatma
quiet
Gandhi
now.
was
I
murdered.
heard you. Swati, I will not scream. Let him keep
Godse
quiet.
murdered Mahatma Gandhi. That was
Swati,
the
you
time.
Where are you going with that, Tausifur Rahman? I am telling you, the
I
MHA
was-
has
That was the time
said that this is
radicalization
going to be
started,
religion
ma'am.
neutral.
Where
What
are you
point do you
going?
not understand?
Can I come in?
It is not neutral. The
Okay,
problem
you
is
are-
it
you
is
have
not
decided that
neutral.
already it is
is
not
just
neutral.
on
Let me first make a
papers.
point.
Yeah, Sanju wants to come in. Okay, Tausifur Rahman already has
But the
decided it is
reality-
not going to be
but the
neutral
Kashmiris
despite the
are
MHA saying so.
humiliated.
Okay, Sanju.
Swati, you will have to allow me to speak and ask these gentlemen to keep quiet. Okay, please let me have my say, then you can rebut me.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate that, yes.
You know, I want to say yes, Mahatma Gandhi was a radical reformer. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar was a radical reformer. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a radical reformer. Nelson Mandela was a radical reformer. Martin Luther King was a radical reformer. But Burhan Wani was a radicalized jihadi. Afzal Guru was a radicalized jihadi. Yaqub Memon was a radicalized jihadi. Hafiz Saeed is a radicalized jihadi. Dawood is a radicalized jihadi. So please understand the difference between radicalized jihadi and a radical reformer. Do not have a false equivalence.
You cannot judge
The difference is the fact.
Point number two. Why were you guys quiet when the UAPA was amended in 2004? UAPA was amended in 2008. UAPA was amended in 2013.
Okay, Mr. Majid Haidari wants to counter a point.
Of an amendment in the UAPA.
Mr. Majid Haidari, quickly, I have to wrap up the debate. Yes.
UAPA has been
Sanju Verma Sahib, I appreciate you for one thing. You said that laws in India should be religion neutral. But let me remind you that laws which are being created or amended in BJP regime are not religion neutral. You have CAA where Muslims have been singled out. You have triple talaq which is exclusively for Muslims. And then you have this ideology which you spoke about
radicalized
that radicalization
jihadi
belongs to Muslims
mindset
alone.
in Kashmir
so that
Valley
explains
is a
your party's
reality.
stand that any law in India will not be religion neutral henceforth. Because we have seen your party stand on these things.
You know, the point is that individuals who are conducting the study already are saying that radicalization has not been defined, which leads to misuse, and that's why they'd like to study the pattern of radicalization. But even before that happens, the angle of religion is being brought into it. People are talking about this being against a particular community. If that is not fear-mongering, what is? Suman C. Raman, Shehzad Poonawala, Sanju Verma, Tausifur Rahman and Majid Hadi, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, I believe Sanju Verma will continue to be with us for debate number 2 as well.
News Hour Special Edition.
Welcome back. A new law that is being brought in by the Pinarayi Vijayan government in Kerala has now triggered a big fight. Kerala governor signed an ordinance amending the Kerala Police Act to give the law enforcement more teeth to check online abuse. The amendment proposes 3 years of imprisonment and a fine of 10,000 rupees for those convicted of producing, publishing or disseminating derogatory content through any means of communication to intimidate, insult or defame any person through social media. That move has now triggered the freedom of speech debate, with both Congress and BJP questioning the left government for their attempt to muzzle the basic constitutional right. Let's take a look at this report.
When he took oath as the Chief Minister, Pinarayi Vijayan took an oath to uphold the rights enshrined in the Constitution for every individual without any discrimination. But a law that his government has now brought in could prove to threaten that very oath and basic right that every person in this country has.
The Kerala Police Amendment Act 2020, which has been signed by Kerala Governor Arif Mohammed Khan yesterday and now been enacted as a law, has become extremely controversial, with a lot of opposition parties including the Congress, the BJP and also human rights activists raising a lot of questions and suspicions, especially regarding the intent of the act. Advocates of free speech and media says that this is a move to scuttle the voice of the dissenters, especially people within the media.
A law that has been implemented to check online abuse and protect personal liberties can be misused. That's the worry of activists, not just in the state, but across the country.
For example, it does not define what constitutes defamation, and at the same time awards a person who is found to have committed this offence a long jail time up to 5 years and a hefty fine of 10,000 rupees. Besides that, it also makes this offence cognizable, so practically any person or even the police can file a complaint and take action.
The opposition coming out all guns blazing against the new cyber law, with Junior Minister for MEA calling this a sign of left's autocratic nature. Congress too was quick to call this law an assault on freedom of speech and demanded that this be immediately stayed.
Amendment made in the Kerala Police Act through an ordinance is illegal, and it is a clear violation of the fundamental rights for freedom of expression. It is to bypass the Supreme Court decision by removing the Section 66 of the IT Act. When the provision of an act passed by the Parliament had removed by the Supreme Court, how can a state government make a legislation in the same line?
The newly introduced Section 118A of the Police Act is a gag law intended to suppress the freedom of speech and expression by making defamation an immediately cognizable offence. This is a classical example of burning down the house to kill the rat. It's very clear that the state government has brought this ordinance at the fag end of its term. It's not with a good intention.
But despite the outrage, the Kerala government is firm on its stand. The Chief Minister even blaming certain media houses for running a malicious campaign against them and spreading misinformation about a law they claim will only curb misuse of social media. The new cyber law has now triggered a freedom of speech debate. Who decides what is offensive, and will the police be able to handle such an unparalleled power? These are the questions that now face the Pinarayi Vijayan government. Bureau Report, Times Now.
You're watching the News Hour Special Edition, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, let's go across to our guests. Sanju Verma continues to be with us. We're also joined by Srijit Panikkar, social activist, Kevin Matthews, political analyst, and Suneet Chopra, senior leader of the CPIM. Good evening to all of you. Let me first go across to Mr. Chopra. Double standards, isn't it, Mr. Chopra? Because many are saying that the left celebrated the striking down of Section 66. The left, the CPM specifically here in its 2019 manifesto, pledged to repeal the law against sedition as well as the law against criminal defamation. And now it brings in this particular law and brings in this particular amendment. The allegation is that you want to curb freedom of speech.
The allegation may be whatever it is, but this issue has come up in a number of states. It came up even in places like Delhi, where certain school children had videos put about them and they committed suicide. You have a number of women who have committed suicide like this. In Kerala also there was a case of the two women who beat up that man finally out of desperation. You can't have a situation where people take the law into their own hands. So something has to be done to control abuse. A number of people like me, I don't care. I just turn off whatever they say. And there is nothing that I'm afraid of. But you know, young people who are sensitive, they commit suicide. And I don't see why we should simply, because we disbelieve that somebody's motives may be correct or incorrect, want to stop people saving lives of young people. Even in Kerala, you saw what a mess was made of that case on love jihad.
But what about the mess that was made in terms of the arrests? So, I mean, the arrests that happened, sir, 119 people were booked in Kerala until June 2019. Until June 2019. And the allegation against them was that they abused the Chief Minister of Kerala. That was the allegation against them, Sanju Verma. Many are saying that the left, in fact, alleges the same against the Congress and the BJP.
Okay, you know, I listened to Mr. Chopra. Swati, I want to make a quick interjection here. First of all, the introduction of Section 118A in the Kerala Police Act by way of an ordinance in such a rush, I don't understand why there was a need to do that, because you already have Section 79 of the IT Act, you have Section 499 and 500 of the IPC, which deal with abusive, offensive statements and posts and criminal defamation. Point number two, I believe, and I think rightfully so, that this has been done to curb freedom of speech and expression because of three reasons. A, there is a massive outcry that the Kerala government under Pinarayi Vijayan has been underreporting COVID cases by between 45 to 50%. Officially, they say just barely over 2,000 deaths have taken place, whereas lawyers from within Kerala and academicians and experts, health experts are saying the number could be in excess of 3,500 deaths. Point number two, I think this is to curb the freedom of dissent, because you have local body elections coming up between 12th and 14th December, and the Pinarayi Vijayan government is rattled after the gold scam case, which has exploded in Pinarayi Vijayan's face. Point number three, I will again say, the gold scam needs to be looked at very seriously.
Involved were BJP.
And I want to ask one more thing, Mr. Chopra, how is it that the principal secretary to Pinarayi Vijayan was arrested by the enforcement directorate, and Pinarayi Vijayan says, I knew nothing about the gold scam.
Let me also bring in Kevin Matthews. Kevin Matthews
was arrested and Pinarayi
let me also bring in Kevin. Kevin, the Supreme Court also struck down Section 118D of the Kerala Police Act in 2015, and the Supreme Court, while striking that law, said it's violative of Article 19(1) and not saved by Article 19(2). That was the observation made by the judges when they struck down 118D and Section 66A. Now, is this another attempt to bring in a similar amendment, a similar law?
Swati, the prime basis here is, see, it is the purpose of the lawmaking bodies to make laws, and they have to do that. Laws and ordinance have to be made. That's the first thing. Now, this current thing came out from an incident that happened in Trivandrum, in the capital city, and it was probably the trigger of this thing. But it was also a point of realization where our laws are insufficient.
So maybe
the existing laws you're saying are insufficient. And how has this offensive post been described?
We can still debate on the language, but this is necessary.
And how is the government making sure that this is not going to be misused?
See, so if somebody has a fear that it is going to be misused, what you have to do is you have to work together to make workarounds so that it is not going to be misused. Because you need tools, you need laws, you need new laws for new technology.
Okay, the already existing laws are not enough. Srijit Panikkar and Mr. Kevin Matthews believes that there is a need for new laws to come in. And if in case you need more clarity, you'll have to work upon it. You have to wait.
Yes, you have to work upon it. It is an ordinance. It has to again come in.
Yes, take a counter, sir. A similar one was struck down by the Supreme Court, which was section 118D. Similar in nature. Okay, Srijit Panikkar.
Similar in nature, but
yes, Swati, I hope and believe that I trust that the fellow panelists will also respect my freedom of speech. I would like to start by flashing this tweet from 15th of August 2014 by Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan saying, "Protect freedom of speech and expression." This is a tweet that is still available on his handle. And beneath that, he has written in Malayalam, "Bharanaghatana Verudeyalla," which means that the Indian Constitution exists for a reason. It's not for nothing that it exists. Paura Swatantrayam Adiyara Vekkilla. That is, we are not ready to surrender our individual liberty. Now, what has this act done? So this is a provision which is actually reviving the now defunct two sections, 66A of the IT Act and section 118D of the Kerala Police Act, both of which were termed as draconian and also unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of the country. And these were subsequently repealed, and all the parties actually welcomed it. I would like to remind Mr. Sunit Chopra that to repeal section 66A, it was the CPM MP, Mr. P. Rajiv from the state, who first brought this discussion up in Rajya Sabha. And when the section was repealed, what Mr. Sitaram Yechuri said is that it was a great relief that now it is removed. Now, why we don't trust our government is because now, in the pretext of this YouTuber case, the government has enacted a law and has made this provision cognizable offense. Now, the problem here, when it actually becomes...
Kevin Matthews, let him finish his point. I'll come to you for a counter, sir.
Now,
he didn't interrupt you when you were speaking.
Please respect my freedom of speech, at least in this show. See, the problem here is that now it has been made into a cognizable offense. So, for example, if I feel that CM Pinarayi Vijayan is abused by someone through social media, then I can go and file a petition. So, even if there is no complainant, the police on its own can take this as a case and can arrest
absolutely
this person
unbridled power to the police, Mr. Chopra. Also, it says any offensive post attracts jail term. What is the definition of this offensive post? What is the definition, and who decides what is offensive?
Is the question to me?
No, it is for Mr. Chopra.
Ask me this question, I'd like to answer it. Offensive posts are those where girls have been given drugs and then they have been raped, they have been photographed, and that has been put on social media. And many have committed suicide as a result of it. There are enough cases. So let us not confuse the issue. Abuse and this kind of thing has nothing to do with your freedom of speech. You are violating
Mr. Chopra, Srijit Panikkar is saying that you're misrepresenting the facts, you're misleading. Yes, Mr. Panikkar, finish your point.
No, the point here is...
No, I'm not misrepresenting the facts. I'm putting out the point.
Expresses, publishes, or
you may think I'm
misrepresenting
the facts. I give you the right to
any mode of communication, any matter. So this is applicable to print media, electronic media.
It does not say
absolutely, and that is why, Mr. Chopra, is this an attempt to restrict freedom of press? Is this also an attempt to restrict freedom of press, Sanju Verma?
Swati, can I make a point, please?
Yes.
What freedom of press?
Swati, I just want to say one thing. You know, one of the panelists, can you please keep quiet, Mr. Chopra? We heard you. You had your say.
Okay, Mr. Chopra, one second. Sun lijiye, please.
Ability to digest some harsh facts.
You have had your say too.
Relax, sir. There's no need to be so aggressive.
You have to digest.
Okay, relax. There's no need to be aggressive.
Mr. Chopra, sip a glass of water and just relax. Okay. Swati, now let me tell you one thing. One of the panelists very rightfully mentioned that Section 118A of the Kerala Police Act, let me tell you, Swati, this is even more draconian than 66A. Because Section 66A, which came into being during the Congress regime in 2010, only dealt with online communication. Whereas legal experts have said that Section 118A is all pervasive. It does not deal with only online communication, it deals with offline communication as well.
All right.
And giving the police unbridled suo moto powers.
Right, and that is exactly what is being questioned. But the government is defending itself by now saying that there will be a SOP which will be followed as far as these concerns are concerns. One second, Sanju Verma. As far as these concerns that are being raised by the opposition comes into picture. Sumit Chopra, Kevin Matthews, that's all the time I have. Sanju Verma and Mr. Panikkar, thank you very much for joining us.
The News Hour Special Edition will be right back after this break.
Another senior leader sounds warning bells. Ghulam Nabi Azad today came out and called for a complete overhaul within the Congress. Azad said that the party was at its lowest in 72 years and elections must be conducted for party posts. While he stopped short of criticizing the Gandhis, he said that a total rejig in the organizational structure was needed for the Congress to become a national alternative. Listen in.
बीजेपी की एक एडवांटेज है, उसमें अटल जी हों, अडवाणी जी हों, मोदी जी हो, एक सिस्टम है। उनकी फिक्स है आरएसएस वाला, वो कोई भी आए हैं, उनको तो अपना 24 घंटे काम करना। हमारे ढांचे को जो है, स्ट्रक्चर है, वो कमजोर है, वो कोलैप्स हो गया है। हमें ढांचा पहले खड़ा करना पड़ेगा, फिर उसमें कोई भी लीडर हो चलेगा। लेकिन खाली लीडर बदलने से अगर आप कहेंगे कि पार्टी बदल जाएगी, बिहार आएगा, मध्य प्रदेश आएगा, यूपी आएगा, नहीं, वो सिस्टम से बदलेगा। जब तक हम अपना वे ऑफ फंक्शनिंग नहीं चेंज करेंगे, हर लेवल पे, ब्लॉक लेवल पे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे, पीसीसी लेवल पे, नेशनल लेवल पे, एक तो पार्टी को प्रोग्राम देने की जरूरत है। आप मजदूर को प्रोग्राम, अगर मजदूरी नहीं दोगे तो वो क्या करेगा? आप टीचर को स्कूल नहीं भेजोगे पढ़ाने के लिए, वो क्या करेगा? आप बच्चे को स्कूल नहीं भेजोगे तो वो क्या? तो इसलिए उसके लिए प्रोग्राम, हाँ वो जरूरी है लीडरशिप को, तो प्रोग्राम लीडरशिप को देना है और इलेक्शन भी लीडरशिप को ही करवाने हैं। मैं उन्होंने न चिदम्बरम ने कोई गलत बात बताई है और न ही कपिल सिब्बल जी ने बताई है, मैं उसका समर्थन करता हूं, लेकिन रिट्रोस्पेक्शन का ये मतलब नहीं है कि सोनिया गांधी के खिलाफ कोई है। रिट्रोस्पेक्शन का ये मतलब नहीं है कि राहुल गांधी को खराब है। रिट्रोस्पेक्शन का यही मतलब है कि अगर हम बिहार में हारे तो क्यों हारे, हम मध्य प्रदेश में हमारी सीटें कम आई तो क्यों आई, इस पे चर्चा हो और फिर चर्चा करने के बाद जो उससे मंथन करने के बाद जो निष्पक्ष निकले उसको हम कैसे प्लग कर सकते।
All right, let's go across to our guests. We're joined by Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP and we also have political analyst Dushyant Nagar with us. Good evening to both of you. Dushyant Nagar जी, एक और नेता अब कह रहे हैं कि हमें स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस की जरूरत है। एक और नेता कह रहे हैं कि हमें टॉप पोस्ट के लिए इलेक्शन करने की जरूरत है। मंथन करने का वक्त आ गया है, अब कितना इंतजार और लीडरशिप करेगी?
देखिए, बिल्कुल सही कहा उन्होंने और मुझे लगता है कि टॉप पोस्ट के लिए तो चुनाव होने जा रहा है। ऑलरेडी चुनाव समिति का गठन हो चुका है और सारी तैयारियां हैं और मुझे लगता है कि जो लोग सलाह दे रहे हैं इनको चुनाव अध्यक्ष पद का लड़ना चाहिए। काफी पुराना अनुभव है, ऐसे लोगों को कंट्रीब्यूट करना चाहिए।
नहीं तो फिर अशोक गहलोत ने क्यों, अगर इतना पुराना अनुभव इनका है तो उतना ही पुराना अनुभव कपिल सिब्बल और चिदम्बरम जी का भी है।
सुन लीजिए,
वो लोग भी यही बात कह रहे थे और गुलाम नबी आजाद कह रहे हैं, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं दोनों, लेकिन अशोक गहलोत का भी एक कैंप है जिनको लगता है कि प्लीज डोंट टॉक अबाउट दिस आउटसाइड द पार्टी।
जी देखिए, युवा कांग्रेस में देश की पहली पार्टी है कांग्रेस पार्टी, जिसने 2007 में
संगठन के चुनाव करने शुरू किए, NSUI के अंदर चुनाव करने शुरू किए, पारदर्शी तरीके से चुनाव करना शुरू किया। चुनाव आयोग के जो पूर्व चुनाव आयुक्त थे उनको इस काम का जिम्मा सौंपा।
Sir, despite all of that, Ghulam Nabi Azad is saying we've lost connection with people on ground.
संगठन खराब हो गया, युवा
He's saying sycophancy का कल्चर जो है वो पार्टियों को लेकर डूब जाएगा, लीडर्स को लेकर डूब जाएगा। We have to, stop following this 5-star culture. आप जो चार्जेस वो लगा रहे हैं उसकी भी तो बात कीजिए ना। वो कह रहे हैं हमारा कनेक्शन ही नहीं, हमारा तो स्ट्रक्चर ही कोलैप्स हो गया है।
अपनी लोगों का हो सकता है उनका ना रहा हो, बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे हैं जिनका कनेक्शन है जो जमीन पे काम कर रहे हैं।
I don't think he's talking about himself, Gopal Krishna Agarwal. He's talking about the party. He's talking about the party and he's talking about the structure.
महाराष्ट्र में देखिए,
गोपाल कृष्ण अग्रवाल
के पास सबसे अधिक
कांग्रेस का समस्या क्या हो रही है? कांग्रेस की समस्या क्या हो रही है कि वह एक परिवारवाद के ऊपर सोच नहीं सकते। उनकी सेंट्रल लीडरशिप, गांधी परिवार के अलावा कोई प्रेसिडेंट नहीं बन सकता। अगर आप टॉप पोस्ट है ही नहीं इलेक्शन के लिए तो फिर इलेक्शन किस चीज का करेंगे? और अगर टॉप पोस्ट पे एक व्यक्ति को काबिज रहना, एक परिवार को काबिज रहना, तो वो तो नॉमिनेट ही करेगा ना, तभी तो उसको इलेक्शन में लोग जिताएंगे। तो एक शैम है इलेक्शन का जो ये करना, वह भी नहीं कर रहे। अब तो सालों सालों से कई दशकों से कांग्रेस में कोई इलेक्शन हुआ नहीं, न CWC का न किसी चीज का।
और पार्टी जिस तरह से फंक्शन कर रही है, इसी को बदलने के बाद गुलाम नबी आजाद कह रहे हैं, दुष्यंत नागर जी सिंह 72 सालों में पार्टी अभी सबसे खराब दौर से गुजर रही है। वो ये भी कह रहे हैं कि आप अपॉइंट मत कीजिए लोगों को, आप इलेक्ट कीजिए, तब वो काम करेंगे।
बिल्कुल। और स्वाति जी, एक और बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण बात उन्होंने कही कि हमारे पास स्ट्रक्चर नहीं है पार्टी।
इंदिरा गांधी,
या तो इंदिरा गांधी जी के समय से स्ट्रक्चर को डिस्ट्रॉय किया गया ना, नहीं तो परिवारवाद कैसे कब्जा करके रखेगा किसी पार्टी को?
अच्छा,
अगर स्ट्रक्चर होगा तो फिर तो स्ट्रक्चर में से लोग उभर के आएंगे, इलेक्शन जीतेंगे, उसके बाद वो अपनी बातों को भी रखेंगे।
जवाब दीजिए दुष्यंत नागर जी, बिकॉज़ गुलाम नबी आजाद कह रहे हैं कि आप इंटरनल इलेक्शंस करिए अगर आपको नेशनल ऑल्टरनेटिव बनना है।
देखिए, बिल्कुल
डेमोक्रेसी का क्या मतलब होता है दुष्यंत जी कि हर
आपके आरोपों को सिरे से खारिज करता हूं।
लड़ने का नहीं, इलेक्शन में
इंदिरा गांधी
प्रमुख
कांग्रेस की नेता बनी, इंदिरा गांधी भारत की प्रधानमंत्री बनी, चुनाव के द्वारा बनी,
राहुल गांधी
संसदीय दल में मतदान हुआ, इंदिरा जी को 600 से अधिक वोट मिले।
अरे वो कह रहे हैं इंदिरा जी के बाद,
देसाई को
वो कह रहे हैं इंदिरा जी के बाद पार्टी को एक परिवार ने टेक ओवर कर लिया। उसके बाद क्या बदलाव आया?
इंदिरा जी एक लीडर थी, मास लीडर थी, लोगों की लीडर थी। उसके बाद तो परिवार के।
अच्छा ठीक है, दुष्यंत नागर जी अपनी बात रख रहे हैं।
सोनिया जी का क्या है, राहुल का क्या है,
बताइए दुष्यंत जी, बताइए।
एक गांधी परिवार के अलावा कोई गुण है क्या इनके अंदर राजनीतिक?
देखिए,
वो बहुत अच्छे व्यक्ति होंगे, वो बहुत ही
ठीक है। नहीं, अग्रवाल जी सुन लेते हैं, एक काउंटर दे रहे हैं दुष्यंत नागर।
देखिए, सोनिया गांधी जब राजनीति में आई, उनका चुनाव में मुकाबला अध्यक्ष पद के लिए जतिन प्रसाद से हुआ, जो उत्तर प्रदेश के PCC चीफ रह चुके थे, 6 साल 5 साल प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय में एडवाइजर रह चुके थे, बड़े नेता थे, टॉल लीडर थे। उनको कितने मत मिले? सोनिया जी को कितने मत मिले? सोनिया जी लोकप्रियता के दम पे लोगों के समर्थन से भारत की राजनीति में आई,
करके ही तो ये किया है,
और उनको कोई चुनौती पार्टी के अंदर से नहीं मिली।
यही तो बात है
भाई साहब,
यही तो बात है। ये लीडर्स नहीं, एक सेकंड, यही तो बात है गोपाल कृष्ण अग्रवाल, व्हिच इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग बिकॉज़ दीस लीडर्स राइट लेटर्स, दीस लीडर्स से इंट्रोस्पेक्शन होना चाहिए। वी नीड टू सॉल्व दिस क्राइसिस। ये क्राइसिस जो लीडरशिप क्राइसिस जो बन रहा है, इसको सुधारना चाहिए। फिर जब राहुल गांधी खड़े होते हैं चुनाव के लिए या सोनिया गांधी खड़ी होती है, तो फिर कोई ओपोनेंट क्यों नहीं होता? फिर कोई चैलेंज करने वाला क्यों नहीं होता? दावेदार क्यों नहीं होता फिर?
और आज जब लीडरशिप क्राइसिस है, कोई लीडर नहीं है, तब दूसरा क्यों नहीं मिला? कपिल सिब्बल जी यही तो कह रहे हैं कि आपने CWC कोई प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं दिया चर्चा के लिए, तब मुझे पब्लिक में बात करनी पड़ी। तो आप अपोजिशन कांग्रेस को एक अपनी पार्टी नहीं समझिए, या अपोजिशन एक स्ट्रक्चर डेमोक्रेसी में, प्रजातंत्र में महत्वपूर्ण होता है, तो उसके ऊपर सब लोग चर्चा कर सकते हैं।
ऑल्दो दुष्यंत नागर जी थोड़ा बैलेंस करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे गुलाम नबी आजाद व्हेन ही सेड कि यू कैन नॉट ब्लेम सोनिया गांधी और राहुल गांधी, वो हो सकता है कांग्रेस लॉयलिस्ट है इतने सालों से, तो ये सीधा सीधा वो आरोप नहीं लगाना चाह रहे हो, लेकिन कुल मिलाकर जो बात वो कह रहे हैं वो वही जो कपिल सिब्बल और पी चिदम्बरम ने कही।
और कमलनाथ जी को क्यों बनाया? कमलनाथ जी केवल इसलिए बनाया कि भ्रष्टाचार में पार्टनर थे।
अच्छा ठीक है, दुष्यंत जी
600 से ज्यादा जिला कांग्रेस कमेटियां हैं। देखिए, मैं आपके सामने तथ्य रखना चाहता हूं, 2017 दिसंबर जनवरी में जिला कांग्रेस कमेटियों के चुनाव हुए, 600 से ज्यादा की संख्या है। क्या कहीं से कोई ऐसी खबर आई कि किसी को गलत तरीके से चुना गया, किसी को जबरदस्ती थोप दिया गया? जितनी जिला कांग्रेस कमेटियों के चुनाव हुए आपसी सहमति से हुए, लोगों की मेरिट के आधार पे हुए।
तो
आज तक वो जिला कांग्रेस कमेटी
आप क्या कह रहे हो कि गुलाम
अरे हम तो सबसे टॉप पर जो व्यक्ति बैठता है, जिसके हाथ में पूरी कमान होती है, उसकी बात कर रहे हैं हम, तो उस पोस्ट की बात कर रहे हैं। इलेक्शन पर इलेक्शन कांग्रेस पार्टी हारी है कई बार, और लगातार हर बार ही अगर आप देखें तो अपने एलायंस को लेकर के भी डूब रही है। अगर आप ये बातें कह रहे हैं कि कहीं से कोई शिकायत नहीं आ रही, तो फिर ये कुछ चुनिंदा लीडर्स को ही समस्या क्यों हो रही है?
जो आपके
और जो कि बहुत पुराने नेता हैं, जिन्होंने दूसरों की तरह शिकायत करके पार्टी नहीं छोड़ दी, जिन्होंने शिकायत करने के बावजूद भी पार्टी में रहना ठीक समझा।
और ये आप बता दो कि क्या गुलाम नबी आजाद और कपिल सिब्बल व्यक्तिगत स्वार्थ के लिए ये बातें कर रहे हैं क्या?
परिणाम आया, परिणाम आने के बाद कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष राहुल गांधी साहब ने अध्यक्ष पद से इस्तीफा दिया। उन्होंने कहा भैया
दे दिया।
अरे सर, आप बात नहीं समझ रहे। या तो एक गांधी के हाथ में कमान रहेगी, नहीं तो दूसरे गांधी के हाथ में। परिवार के बाहर क्या कोई डिजर्विंग नेता नहीं है?
अब मैं कहना चाहता हूं,
कोई टॉल लीडर डिजर्विंग नेता नहीं है।
मधुसूदन मिस्त्री।
और ये बताओ ना कि आप गुलाम नबी आजाद के बातों को गलत बोलते हो, क्या वो आपके नेता नहीं है?
वो चुनाव करा रहे हैं, जिसको इंटरेस्ट है।
तो आप ये तो प्रेसिडेंट के चुनाव की बात हो रही है, आपके
मैं कांग्रेस को अध्यक्ष के लिए सुटेबल हूं, वो सामने आए, वो चुनाव लड़े। अरे भाई आप सुनिए ना पहले।
अरे तो मैं बोलता हूं, स्ट्रक्चर तो क्रिएट करना पड़ता है। कोई ऐसे थोड़ी प्रजातंत्र में अगर प्रेसिडेंट का, देश के राष्ट्रपति का आप चुनाव का, इलेक्शन का स्ट्रक्चर नहीं बनाओगे और कहोगे कोई भी आ जाए और देश के राष्ट्रपति का चुनाव लड़ ले। अरे कोई स्ट्रक्चर बनाना होता है, कोई ग्रूमिंग करनी होती है, पूरे इलेक्शन की प्रक्रिया तय करनी पड़ती है, तब जाके प्रजातंत्र खड़ा होता है। आपने वो सारे स्ट्रक्चर को डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया।
और ये बात आपके अपने नेता कह रहे हैं। दुष्यंत नागर जी, आपका काउंटर क्या है बताइए?
कांग्रेस का कोई भी आके प्रेसिडेंट का इलेक्शन लड़ ले। अरे ऐसे थोड़ी।
सर जवाब ले लीजिए, काउंटर उनको देने दीजिए। हाँ,
देखिए, ऑल इंडिया कांग्रेस कमेटी के 1500 के आसपास सदस्य हैं। उनमें से कोई भी अध्यक्ष पद के लिए जो तय मापदंड होंगे, जो चुनाव समिति तय करेगी, वो चुनाव लड़ सकता है। किसी ने रोका है क्या?
एक मुझे बात बताइए सर, इतने सालों में कभी किसी ने नहीं सोचा ऐसा करने का? इतने सालों में कभी कोई अपनी दावेदारी पेश नहीं कर पाया, और अब एकाएक सब मिलकर के खत लिख रहे हैं। अब एकाएक दुष्यंत नागर जी सब आके मीडिया में बात कह रहे हैं।
सोचा तो क्यों नहीं? गांधी परिवार के अलावा कोई आया इतने सालों से?
देखिए,
आपने क्या किया कि परिवारवाद से बचने के लिए? और कांग्रेस परिवारवाद पे डिपेंडेंट है या नहीं? आप बताइए, गांधी परिवार पे आप डिपेंडेंट हो? क्यों नहीं आपने लीडरशिप डेवलप करी?
बताइए दुष्यंत नागर जी, अब जवाब दीजिए ना, खुलकर जवाब दीजिए।
देखिए, डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह गांधी परिवार से नहीं थे। 10 साल उन्होंने देश को नेतृत्व
की बात
दिया।
कर रहे हैं।
राष्ट्रपति के पद को सुशोभित किया प्रणब मुखर्जी साहब ने। वो गांधी परिवार से
पता चल गया, बराक ओबामा जी को पता चल गया कि मनमोहन सिंह पपेट थे।
क्या कह रहे हैं
और आपको नहीं पता चल
रहा? भारत के प्रधानमंत्री के लिए आपको ऐसे नहीं बोलना चाहिए। बराक ओबामा से ज्यादा आपके लिए डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह है।
नहीं दुष्यंत नागर जी, आप ना डिबेट का डिबेट के डायरेक्शन को, दिशा को मोड़िए मत।
देखिए,
आप अपने ही पार्टी के नेता, बात हो रही है अपने ही पार्टी के नेताओं की, जो खुद ही उंगली उठा रहे हैं पार्टी पर, जो खुद ही कह रहे हैं इंट्रोस्पेक्शन करो, चुनाव तो करवाओ टॉप पोस्ट के लिए। आप इंटरनल इलेक्शन करवाएंगे तभी तो आप नेशनल ऑल्टरनेटिव बन पाएंगे।
और पूरा स्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करना होता है। ऐसा थोड़ी कि कोई भी आके सड़क पे से कहेगा कि मैं नॉमिनेशन फॉर्म भर दूं प्रेसिडेंट का और इलेक्शन
भारतीय जनता पार्टी अपनी बात कह सकती है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी 1 2 3 करके आरोप लगा सकती है, हम लोग मीडिया में बैठ के भी अपनी बात रख सकते हैं, कह सकते हैं, क्रिटिसाइज कर सकते हैं, अपने अपने विषयों को उठा सकते हैं, लेकिन कांग्रेस का अध्यक्ष कौन होगा?
तो
ये तो कांग्रेस के नेता ही तो पूछ रहे हैं सर, ये तो कांग्रेस के नेता ही पूछ रहे हैं। कोई लीडरशिप क्राइसिस कह रहा है, कोई कह रहा है देयर इज अ नीड टू चेंज द स्ट्रक्चर, कोई कह रहा है वी नीड टू चेंज द लीडरशिप, कोई कह रहा है आप टॉप पोस्ट के लिए अपॉइंटमेंट मत कीजिए, इलेक्शन कीजिए, कोई कह रहा है कि एक दिक्कत है, हमने पिछले 6 सालों में कभी बैठ करके आत्ममंथन नहीं किया, इसको बिजनेस एज यूजुअल मत लीजिए। ये सब तो आपके पार्टी के नेता ही कह रहे हैं, ये कोई बीजेपी के कहने से तो ये कोई बीजेपी के कहने से कांग्रेस कुछ तय नहीं करेगी, मान लिया इस बात को, या मीडिया के कहने से कांग्रेस पार्टी कोई फैसला नहीं लेगी, लेकिन अपने नेताओं के कहने पर भी अगर ना ले तो फिर उसको क्या परिवारवाद नहीं तो फिर क्या कहेंगे बताइए?
और परिवारवाद में भी मतलब आपको सीडब्ल्यूसी का इलेक्शन करना है, सब करना है, आप कर नहीं रहे,
अपनी बात कह रहे हैं,
पत्रों का 23 लोगों के पत्रों का कोई जवाब नहीं है।
बताइए दुष्यंत।
बड़ी चिंता है अग्रवाल साहब को 23 लोगों के पत्रों की। आप भी भाई साहब बता दीजिए, देश के बहुत सारे लोगों ने सवाल आपसे भी उठाए हैं, बैंकों में किस प्रकार से एनपीए बढ़ गया, आपसे भी पूछ रहे हैं, 1.5 लाख करोड़ का फ्रॉड हो गया, अरे कैसे नहीं कर ले? अरे कांग्रेस के नेता कांग्रेस की बात करेंगे, आप बताइए ना अपनी बात। आपके यहाँ एक से एक बदल गया, आपका कौन सा लोकतांत्रिक तरीके से बदला गया? आप बताइए, आपने नड्डा जी को बना दिया,
एक ही परिवार के सारे, आप वो सारे एक ही परिवार के हैं।
अरे आपके यहाँ लोकतंत्र है क्या? अरे आपकी पार्टी में क्या लोकतंत्र है क्या? अरे कोई बोल भी नहीं सकता, कांग्रेस पार्टी में तो बोल सकते हैं।
क्या बोल सकते हैं कि परिवार के बाहर किसको पद देंगे? कैसे बोल पाएंगे? अभी खुद के नेता ही इतने सवाल कर रहे हैं। दुष्यंत जी, आपको ज्यादा चिंतित होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से, बीजेपी चिंता करे ना करे ये आपका प्राइमरी कंसर्न नहीं होना चाहिए। चलिए शुक्रिया दुष्यंत जी और अग्रवाल जी हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए। दैट्स ऑल द टाइम आई हैव फॉर द डिबेट। वी आर टेकिंग अ वेरी शॉर्ट ब्रेक।